I'm Matilda Belfiore, and I'm reporting on Angel Island.
I'm Megan DeGraves, and I'll be reporting on the Pullman strike.
I'm Nicholas Lozano, and I'm reporting on sweatshops.
Good evening. This is Matilda Belfiore reporting live from Angel Island.
Angel Island is the entry port for Asian immigrants who cross the Pacific Ocean in search of a better life and better opportunities here in America. This station opened in 1910 and is designed to filter out immigrants mainly from Asia.
When Angel Island was first being built, the newspaper had all these flower descriptions. They described Angel Island as being the future Ellis Island of the West, but with palm trees and pleasant sea breeze.
Once the immigrants walk off the pier, they go to the interrogation rooms where the officers check their certificates of identity with the help of translators. A full medical examination is done for each newly arrived immigrant to prevent the spread of disease in the U.S. This is Mr. Jung, who was born here in the U.S. With the help of 3 white witnesses who testify that he is a U.S. citizen, he is entitled to bring his wife here. After a very long interrogation, she is able to join him, but not everyone is as lucky as her. Chinese travelers who cannot prove that they are American citizens or that they have relatives living in America gets turned away and are detained here in detention barracks. Some stay here for weeks, months, or even several years in poor conditions. The barracks are overcrowded, the immigrants have little freedom to go outside, and the food is unhealthy.
Unfortunately, some immigrants commit suicide because they cannot gain entry. The walls of the barracks are covered with carvings that immigrants did.
These carvings are poems that describe their hardships.
This is Matilda Belfiore reporting from Angel Island. Back to the studio.
Good morning. This is Megan DeGraves reporting with the latest news as of today, August 2nd, on the most recent strike known as the Pullman strike. This event began on May 11, 1894, and ended on July 20th. It began when the Pullman Palace Car Company
cut their wages by about 25%. George Pullman, the company's president, who has a company town called Pullman, did not reduce any charges there. A delegation of workers came together to present their complaints to Mr. Pullman.
Mr. Pullman refused to meet with them, ordering them to be fired. The delegation then decided to strike. At this time, 35% of Pullman workers were represented by the American Railway Union.
On June 22nd, a motion to initiate a boycott was passed by ARU delegates. Eugene V. Debs, president of the ARU, predicted that once employees refused to work with Pullman cars, railroads would fire them and try to replace them with non-union workers, leading other union members to quit.
His prediction was correct because by June 30th, 125,000 workers on 29 railroads had quit. Debs, concerned things would become violent, spoke at a large gathering in Blue Island, Illinois on June 29. After he left, the crowd set fire to buildings and derailed the locomotive.
6 companies of militia were sent to Danville, along with 3 being sent to Decatur, both of them being ordered to suppress riots. President Grover Cleveland sent troops to Chicago.
On July 4th, furious strikers overturned rail cars and barricaded to keep troops out. On July 6th, around 6,000 rioters destroyed hundreds of railroad cars in the South Chicago Panhandle yards. On July 7th, after being assaulted, National Guardsmen fired into a mob, killing between 4 and 30 people and wounding others. The General Managers Association began hiring non-union workers, and eventually trains began to move. On July 20th, the federal troops were recalled. Today, August 2nd, the Pullman Company will be reopening and agreed to rehire the strikers given that they signed a pledge not to unionize. As of now, this has cost the railroads millions in lost revenue and damaged property, and strikers lost more than $1 million in wages.
Good evening and welcome to 6 o'clock news. This is Nicholas Lozano and I'm reporting on sweatshops across America. We've discovered one right here in our own community. It is happening all across America in many factories across our great nation. Our country that prides itself on freedom is using this very lie to cover up what's really going on in some of these factories. This one particular incident involves the factory you see behind me. It is one of the largest producers of men's clothing, and there's been much more going on inside than anyone can imagine. Secrets of exploitation, long-driven hours of manufacturer workers, and underage employees, and unfair and unsafe working conditions inside this factory of horrors. We now enter into the Grant Clothing Factory to see what is really going on. It is deplorable. Hundreds of immigrant workers have been rescued from these inhumane working conditions. Some even entire family units, and some even as young as 10 years old. It has been uncovered that the Grant Clothing Factory has been making clothing and a very profitable business at the expense of these people. The Grant Clothing Factory has illegally been employing immigrants, women, and young children to do the making of their clothing. Hundreds of sewing machines and clothing presses were found in overabundance with very small, unventilated spaces. These workers have been crammed into tiny spaces with hot temperatures and no breaks for hours and hours at a time, constructing garments. I heard that many of them don't even get paid and are threatened if they don't continue with their work that they will be turned into authorities for illegal immigration. These people are many immigrants that have been trying to look for a better life. They are seeking freedom only for them to be forced into labor. This ends tonight's news report. Have a great night.